Zach Clark is an addiction recovery expert with nearly 10 years of personal and professional experience. He is the co-founder of Release Recovery, a full-service recovery organization located in New York, and the Release Recovery Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to providing scholarships to individuals who suffer from either mental illness and/or drug addiction. Zach also serves on the board of trustees for care and treatment centers. So to start our discussion, to each of my colleagues, as Mayor Walsh mentioned, the data is clear. As bad as the addiction crisis has been, COVID-19 has made it and is continuing to make it exponentially worse. I would appreciate it if each of you can tell me why you believe addressing stigma is so vital to addressing the addiction crisis in our country. So either one, any of you can start off first.
I'll start here. I mean, I think for me, in terms of COVID, the world can learn a lot from those of us who are in recovery, because we are taught that the opposite of addiction is connection, right? So for all of us who are in recovery early on, when COVID really forced us into quarantine and isolation in March and April and May, I knew to go to my phone and knew to go to my community and knew to start reaching out. And I think of our entire country, took a couple notes from those of us who know how to connect with human beings. Those of us that are in recovery, they could really benefit from that, because it is tough right now. And those of us, I've heard so many cases of people that aren't necessarily alcoholic or drug addicted, and they are developing some type of addiction in isolation because they're just turning to the drink and the drug to quell the thoughts of isolation that they're having. So,
Zach, you recently shared your story of addiction and recovery publicly. Can you tell me a bit about the public's response, both positive and negative? Or tell us, not me.
Of course, Gary, thanks for the question. For me, and as someone who was in recovery, I've always taken it upon myself to really, one, I've learned and I've been taught that, whether I'm sharing my story on national television to a woman that I'm falling in love with, or to a newcomer who's just trying to get a day sober, the story doesn't change, right? It is what it is. And the truth about my life today and my existence is that when I tell my story, I try to talk about joy. I try to talk about the beautiful life that I've been given as a direct result of going to treatment, right? Like asking for help, going to treatment. The last time I went to treatment, I went for 4.5 months. I had to really dig in, and the beautiful life that I've been given as a result of asking for help, and the people in my life that allowed me to destigmatize this thing. So coming out of that experience, having shared my story on a pretty large scale, I can tell you this, that we are making progress. We are making progress because, damn, for every one person that wants to write me about, the girl should run away from him, once an addict, always an addict, all the things that we've heard, all the archaic thinking that we've come to know, there are 20, 30, 40 people writing me saying, thank you so much for sharing your story. My brother, my sister, my uncle. And I've heard the heartbreak, Gary, just like your story. Loved ones that have reached out to me that have lost people. But I've also heard a ton, and I mean a ton of people, 8 years, 10 years, 25 years. Thank you for, putting our community on the map. So I am confident. I have a lot of hope that our society and our recovery community, we're loud, man. We are loud and we are prideful. So we're going to drown out the hate, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And I'm committed to that. So, I was grateful for that opportunity to share it on that scale. But like I said, I'm taught to share. There's one story, right? The truth. I used to live a life of lies. So now it's very easy. It's simplified. I get to just be honest, tell people what happened, and hopefully people can take some hope from that. So, destigmatize this thing one day at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zach. Because this is National Day of Service, many joining this community conversation would love to know how they can address the stigma we've been discussing on this call. For example, we know that language shapes perception and policy attitude, just mentioned by everybody on this panel. So when I am asked about small changes people can make to support those addicted, I've always recommended changing language. Are there other actions you think people should consider taking, or either today or sooner, to support individuals with substance use disorders in their communities?
Yeah, thanks, Gary. I mean, I don't want to beat the dead horse here, but I think just storytelling, sharing your experience with those who are going through it. I know for me, uh, what was so important early on was seeing guys like myself who I thought I could look up to. And I remember very early in my sobriety, I got home, I'd hung out with a couple guys my age, and I wrote my parents an email. I said, I think I met some guys that I could hang out with, and they're still my best friends today. And the reason I say that is because it wasn't what they were saying, it was what they were doing. And for me, recently, I've heard like, you make recovery look cool. Like I'm a total dork, but if people are looking to me and saying that it looks good, like that to me is doing my part to show people that we're just people that are having a lot of fun, and we just don't drink and do drugs anymore. Because quite frankly, we don't need to. So that's what I got.
Zach, thank you so much.